Hello everyone, welcome to Tesla Daily News. Today is June 10th, Wednesday, and the following is the latest Tesla news. Let's begin with the stock market. According to the latest trading data from US markets, Tesla shares opened at $1 and about 3 cents, traded between a low of roughly $3.24 and a high of $3.50 on heavy volume of about 1 million shares. The previous close was $408.95, but today's final close was not yet available when we recorded this episode. In other words, the stock showed wide intraday volatility and strong participation from traders. 10-word technical view, big volume wide range, testing support, upside momentum yet unconfirmed. For investors, that kind of range after a prior close just above 408 suggests the market is actively repricing Tesla amid a mix of positive operational news and persistent regulatory and competitive uncertainties. Short-term traders will watch whether the mid-380s area holds as support, while longer-term shareholders may see this as normal volatility given the backdrop of product updates, autonomous driving approvals, and new market entries we will cover next. Now let's turn to the key fundamental and strategic news shaping the stock story today. According to Politiken in Denmark, Danish road authorities have just approved Tesla's driver assistance and so-called self-driving technology for use on Danish roads, making Denmark the fourth EU country to give a green light to Tesla's system. However, this is not full legal autonomy. The driver must remain actively engaged, continuously supervising the vehicle's behavior and ready to intervene at any time. Torben Lund Kutsk, the political chief at FDM, Denmark's main motorists association, calls the decision both surprising and exciting. During their own test drives, FDM reportedly experienced what they described as serious errors in the system, which makes the approval noteworthy and somewhat controversial. For investors and Tesla enthusiasts, this highlights two big points. First, it shows European regulators are gradually becoming more open to advanced driver assistance deployments from Tesla, which strengthens the company's long-term full self-driving narrative and potential software revenue in Europe. Second, the emphasis on driver supervision and the mention of grave errors from an influential motorists association underline that regulatory acceptance will remain conditional and closely scrutinized. Any high-profile incident in Denmark or other EU markets could quickly trigger tighter rules. In the near term, though, this move should help Tesla collect more real-world driving data under European conditions, refine its models, and build a stronger case for higher levels of autonomy in the future. Staying in Europe but shifting to product and demand dynamics, CO.net from Slovenia reports that the Tesla Model Y is regaining sales momentum across Europe, with Slovenia following that trend. The Model Y is no longer a brand new vehicle, yet it remains the best-selling electric car in Europe, and notably the only EV outside China that has truly entered the mainstream automotive market. The article points out that Tesla's sales in Europe dipped during the wait for last year's refresh and amid Elon Musk's involvement in US presidential politics. However, in the first 4 months of this year, Tesla's European sales rose by about 45% overall, and by over 60% within the European Union. Slovenia is seeing similar strength. There, Tesla as a brand registered 1,394 vehicles last year, capturing about 2.8% market share. The renewed momentum is credited especially to a significantly cheaper base version of the Model Y, which has pulled the car back into the center of buyer attention. For investors, this supports the thesis that price adjustments and continuous over-the-air improvements can keep older Tesla platforms competitive against a fast-moving field of European and Chinese rivals. It also underscores how flexible pricing and option strategies, including entry-level trims, can quickly revive demand when sentiment softens. According to the same CO.net report, Tesla has also introduced a 7-seat option for the Model Y long-range premium in Europe. This configuration does not use a stretched wheelbase. Instead, it adds a movable second row and 2 extra seats in the trunk area. The option is priced at about €2,500 and is available only on the long-range premium variant. In practice, the 6th and 7th seats fold flat into the cargo floor and can be raised when needed. Reviewers note that space in the rearmost row is really suited only for smaller children, and even then only for short trips. The sloping roofline makes the third row feel quite claustrophobic, and there is no dedicated ventilation back there, so the seats are best seen as an emergency or occasional use solution. Interestingly, the more compelling part of this package may actually be the sliding second row, which can expand cargo capacity or improve legroom flexibility. The second row folds and returns electrically via buttons in the trunk or controls on the central touchscreen, adding to the car's practicality. From an investment angle, the 7-seat option helps Tesla address a niche but important family-oriented segment, especially in Europe, where multi-purpose vehicles and three-row crossovers still have a loyal following. While the third row is not a true full-size solution, the ability to advertise up to 7 seats enhances the Model Y's perceived versatility and could support higher average selling prices for the long-range premium trim. The same Slovenian test emphasizes that, beyond the seating gimmick, the Model Y remains a very strong overall package. With a length of about 4.7 meters, it remains among the roomiest in its class. Connectivity and infotainment speed, screen quality, and the integration of media, games, and entertainment features still set Tesla apart. In the tested dual-motor configuration, real-world energy consumption stayed under 17 kWh per 100 km on test, with motorway use below 20 kWh and rural driving close to 11 to 12. With a battery of roughly 79 kWh, the realistic range is comfortably over 400 km. Plugged into Tesla's supercharger network, owners can enjoy very competitive charging prices. The article mentions that daytime charging can translate into roughly €5 per 100 km driven, highlighting the total cost of ownership advantage that remains a key part of the Tesla value proposition. On the downside, the test underlines that the Model Y is still based on a 400-volt architecture. That means its peak charging power, briefly above 200 kilowatts, lags behind some new European and especially Chinese competitors that are pushing higher voltage systems and faster charging curves. Charging from 20 to 80% state of charge takes at least about 25 minutes. However, the relatively modest battery size means that partial charges, such as from 15 to 50% in about 12 minutes, remain very practical. Other weaknesses mentioned include somewhat awkward door handles and the lack of an official vehicle-to-load adapter in the European configuration. Pricing also matters. The Model Y long-range premium in Slovenia starts around €54,000 plus about 1,000 for preparation, roughly 13,000 more than the absolute base version. With options such as 20-inch wheels, a tow hitch, and a 7-seat package, the price can cross €60,000. Importantly, more powerful Model Y versions are expected to lose access to national purchase subsidies later this year, though vehicles ordered by June should still be delivered in time to qualify. That creates a short-term demand pull as buyers rush to lock in incentives, something investors should watch in quarterly delivery numbers. Moving to Southeast Europe, NetHR in Croatia offers a detailed road test of the refreshed Tesla Model Y for the 2026 model year, internally known by the code name Juniper. The publication describes the car as terrifyingly good, reflecting both admiration and unease about how far Tesla pushes the driving and software experience. Externally, the Juniper update gives the Model Y a more mature, aggressive look, with noticeably slimmer front and rear light clusters stretching across the vehicle's width, and a cleaner design overall. It is not a radical redesign but an evolutionary refresh that aligns the Model Y visually with the rest of Tesla's updated lineup. The more substantial changes are inside. The cabin, historically polarizing for its stark minimalism, now features significantly improved materials, replacing many hard surfaces with softer, higher quality finishes. Seats have been redesigned to deliver better support and comfort on longer journeys, and they now offer both heating and ventilation. Subtle ambient lighting is added, with customizable colors, addressing a common complaint that earlier interiors felt too austere. Noise insulation appears to be a major focus of this refresh. The test notes the use of double acoustic glass on all windows and extra sound-deadening materials, resulting in much lower wind and road noise at speed. The reviewers highlight that you can now hold a relaxed conversation on the highway without raising your voice, and even the sound of the horn is reportedly barely audible inside, underscoring the serenity of the cabin. The tested configuration is the Model Y Premium Long Range with rear-wheel drive. It is priced at just under €52,000, offers a WLTP range quoted at about 609 kilometers, and accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.6 seconds, with a top speed of just over 200 kilometers per hour. Tesla does not officially publish power figures, but estimates for this single-motor variant are around 295 horsepower. As the reviewers note, these numbers put an otherwise calm, family-oriented SUV into the performance territory of sports cars from a decade ago, making highway overtakes and city starts extremely brisk. Charging performance remains one of Tesla's strong suits thanks to the supercharger network. The Croatian test mentions that in about 15 minutes at a fast charger, the car can add close to 293 kilometers of range, which is shorter than a typical coffee break. The vehicle also automatically plans charging stops on long trips, specifying where to stop, which supercharger to use, how long to stay, and how much to charge. It even overlays live and short-term forecast weather data on the navigation, adding to the feeling that the Model Y is as much a connected device as a car. The reviewers devote special attention to the so-called one-pedal driving experience. Regenerative braking in this Model Y is strong enough that, under most normal conditions, drivers can largely ignore the brake pedal, simply modulating the accelerator to speed up or slow down. For new EV users, this takes some getting used to, but once mastered, it makes driving smoother and more relaxing, while also boosting efficiency and reducing brake wear. Handling is another highlight. Due to the low center of gravity from the battery pack in the floor, the Model Y corners with impressive stability and minimal body roll. Steering feel is described as direct and almost telepathic, giving the driver a sense of precise control more characteristic of a sporty sedan than a tall family SUV. Passengers accustomed to the body motions of conventional SUVs are reportedly surprised by how flat the car feels through bends. The trade-off remains ride comfort. Despite some suspension improvements, the Model Y's ride is still on the firm side. On smooth roads, that firmness reinforces a planted, confident feel. But on uneven or poorly maintained surfaces, which are common in many Central and Eastern European regions, the ride can become choppy and less comfortable than some rivals in this price range. Investors should note this as one of the few consistent criticisms of the platform, especially for markets where road quality is an issue. The Croatian article makes an interesting psychological point. It is hard to see Tesla purely as a car. It is more of an advanced device that happens to drive. Features like automated parking, lane changes on highways, and a growing suite of driver assistance functions can create both fascination and anxiety, particularly among those who are not fully comfortable surrendering control to algorithms. One anecdote in the test describes the reviewers being forced to sit in the car for about 45 minutes at night while the vehicle performed an over-the-air software update, effectively leaving them trapped until the process finished. This illustrates the double-edged nature of continuous software deployment. It keeps the car improving, but it also introduces occasional inconveniences that traditional cars simply do not have. Inside, the dominant element remains the large 15.4-inch central touchscreen, with a resolution that the reviewers say feels like looking through a window. It controls almost everything: navigation, climate control, media, even the glove box and wiper settings. Physical buttons are almost entirely absent, except for a few controls on the steering wheel. For new owners, this demands a learning period, but once familiar, returning to a traditional cabin with many buttons can feel dated and cluttered. The test also highlights Tesla's unique software flourishes, a library of games, a sketchpad, novelty features like simulated flatulence sounds from specific seats, and synchronized light and sound shows with dramatic music and animated windows, lights, and trunk. While these may seem frivolous, they create a sense of fun and help differentiate Tesla's user experience, especially for younger passengers. On the negative side, the lack of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration remains a widely criticized omission. Tesla's native system is powerful and responsive, but many drivers prefer the familiarity and flexibility of mirroring their smartphone ecosystems. Practicality, however, scores highly. With rear seats folded, the cargo area is enormous, and the additional front trunk is ideal for charging cables and smaller bags. The latest version also adds an 8-inch rear screen so backseat passengers can control climate settings and enjoy entertainment content. The Croatian reviewers conclude that the Model Y is extraordinarily capable at what it does. It is quick, efficient, spacious, and deeply integrated with Tesla's charging infrastructure and software ecosystem. The car inspires either strong enthusiasm or strong dislike, but rarely indifference. For investors, that polarizing effect is important. Tesla's brand remains powerful, and its integration of hardware, software, and charging still sets a benchmark that most competitors have yet to reach. As long as that combination keeps attracting mainstream buyers, especially in Europe's competitive SUV segment, it underpins both delivery volumes and the premium valuation attached to the stock. Now we move from vehicles to robotics and brand visibility. According to COP in Spain, the 10th edition of the Digital Enterprise Show, or DES 2026, has opened in Málaga, turning the city into a major European technology capital for several days. The event focuses on artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, sustainability, digital transformation, and increasingly on security, defense, and digital resilience in light of geopolitical tensions. For Tesla followers, two elements stand out. First, the show features a new humanoid robot created by Tesla, a public showcase of the company's robotics program in a high-profile European setting. Second, attendees will have what the organizers describe as a real opportunity, in collaboration with Tesla, to test autonomous driving authorized by the Spanish Traffic Authority, the DGT. This is important because it shows that Spanish regulators are willing to permit supervised autonomous driving demonstrations with Tesla vehicles at scale, in front of thousands of business leaders. It reinforces the idea that Tesla is not only a car manufacturer but also a leading AI and robotics company being invited into discussions about digital sovereignty, critical infrastructure, and the future of work. The presence of a Tesla humanoid robot, even in an early form, keeps the company in the conversation about next-generation automation and potential new business lines beyond automobiles. For shareholders, these European showcases contribute less to immediate revenue than to long-term narrative, Tesla as a multi-vertical AI platform. They also help build relationships with policymakers and enterprise customers who may later play roles in infrastructure deployment, energy projects, or fleet deals. Finally, we turn to a significant development in Eastern Europe. According to Plovdiv24 in Bulgaria, Tesla is officially entering the Bulgarian market with a fully fledged local presence. A new company called Tesla BGR has been registered in Bulgaria's commercial register, with sole ownership held by Tesla International BV, the Dutch entity that manages Tesla's operations in major European markets such as Germany, France, and neighboring Greece. The leadership of the Bulgarian subsidiary includes several key international Tesla executives: Stefan Workman, Tesla's European Finance Director, David Feinstein, a global senior director for new markets, and Efstathios Leas, who played a pivotal role in launching Tesla's Greek operations. The declared business scope covers import, distribution, sales, service, maintenance, and repair of Tesla vehicles. The strongest evidence of an imminent physical launch is a wave of job postings on Tesla's official careers portal targeting Sofia. Positions include store manager for Bulgaria, sales and delivery advisors, customer experience specialist, service manager in Sofia, senior automotive technicians and mechanics, and a mechanic for mobile service operations. Recruitment for both showroom and service roles suggests that Tesla plans a combined showroom and service center, rather than just a sales office. For existing Bulgarian Tesla owners, estimated at nearly 5,000, this is a major change. Currently, they often need to drive long distances to Bucharest, Thessaloniki, or Vienna for official diagnostics, software procedures, or warranty repairs. A local authorized service center and mobile technicians will reduce that burden and likely increase owner satisfaction and retention. From a market structure standpoint, the arrival of an official Tesla presence is expected to reshape Bulgaria's automotive landscape. Until now, Bulgarian buyers typically ordered Teslas through websites for Germany, Austria, or Romania, organizing transport and registration themselves or via intermediaries. With a local subsidiary, purchases and leasing should be possible directly in Bulgaria, with clearer pricing in leva or euros and standardized delivery processes. The article also notes that used Tesla prices in Bulgaria, especially for the popular Model Y, are artificially high and often close to the cost of a new vehicle. Once official promotions, direct leasing, and transparent local pricing are in place, the secondary market is expected to normalize, aligning more closely with Western European price structures. In addition, Tesla's presence is likely to accelerate the build-out of the company's supercharger network in the country, enhancing long-distance EV usability across the Balkans. Although Tesla has not yet issued a formal press release with exact opening dates, regional precedents like Estonia suggest that only a few months typically pass between company registration, job postings, and the opening of at least a temporary pop-up store, followed by a permanent showroom and service center. This means Bulgarian investors and enthusiasts could see the first physical footprint before the end of the year. For Tesla shareholders, expansions into smaller but growing EV markets like Bulgaria may not move overall revenue dramatically in the short term, but they increase Tesla's geographic diversification, strengthen the European sales network, and create additional nodes for charging infrastructure. Over time, these markets can compound into meaningful regional volume, especially as EU-wide emissions regulations continue to favor electrification. That wraps up today's episode of Tesla Daily News. Thank you for listening, and if you enjoy staying on top of Tesla's latest developments, please remember to subscribe and follow for future updates.